Hello, beautiful divine children of God. My name is Hannah and welcome to our channel, or welcome back to our channel. Today I've got a video for you all on what happens after twin flame reunion. So I wanted to make this video to really get you into the energy of reuniting with your twin flame, right? Once you've healed separation, once you start coming together, right? You're going to begin to clear away all of the blocks keeping you guys apart. And of course, you're going to eventually reunite, especially if you are using the mirror exercise and taking advantage of the teachings of union. It's a guaranteed result. So I want to talk about what that actually looks like today and kind of help you prepare, right? So you can rewatch this video when you are on the brink of reuniting with your twin flame, when you're preparing to reunite with your twin flame, or if you've just discovered twin flames and are curious about what it's like, you can definitely tune in. And make sure to stick around to the end because I'm going to be touching on a little bit about Dylan and I's journey of reuniting and also what I've learned throughout my experience working with different clients who are in the process of healing their twin flame separation and reuniting with their twin flames as well. So it's going to be a very juicy video. So with that, I just want to start off with what is twin flame reunion, right? And really you can call it twin flame reunion, twin flame union, right? Even if you haven't been with your twin flame in this lifetime, it's still technically a reunion, right? Because you were created together. You've never really been apart. You're just reuniting again. But when Dylan and I came into union, we called it, coming into twin flame union, but it also felt like we were reuniting, right? It felt like we were reuniting with another part of ourselves. By definition, it's going to be when you're in the process of coming into a committed relationship, right? Or when you are in a committed relationship, boyfriend and girlfriend, right? You're both committed to each other. You're both aware that you want to be together long term. So when you are reuniting with your twin flame, a lot is going to come up for you to move through and to heal through, right? If you have been previously doing the healing work prior to reuniting, which I highly recommend, so that you do not come together and then everything explodes and you go back into your own corners. I highly recommend creating a really solid foundation of inner work within yourself prior to coming into union with your twin flame, because it's going to make things so much easier on you and allow you to have such a more peaceful transition into union. But when you do start coming into union, let's say even if you have a really solid foundation of inner work, like I did within myself when Dylan and I came together, that doesn't mean it was just this super simple, like, okay, now we're, happily ever after, right? There was elements of that, but there was also a lot of challenges that came up. There was a lot of triggering that happened. And there was a lot of sensitive emotions, deep feelings that were surfacing for us to clear and heal through in order to come into harmony. Because when you come together with your twin flame, yes, it's a huge high, right? It's a huge vibrational high. It's a vibration that's higher than anything you've experienced before in your lifetime. And so it's going to be a really intense experience, but also if you're doing that inner work, it'll also be grounded in peace too. And so when you come together, yeah, it's going to feel like you've, are reconnecting with your best friend about this lifetime on earth. That's how it felt with, like, for Dylan and I. It was like catching up with a best friend, that we've enjoyed lifetimes with about what we did this time on earth. It was a really cool experience for us. Yeah, it was like connecting with another part of ourselves, right? Because that's really the truth of your union, is it's, your twin flame is you. And so, we had an amazing time reconnecting. We, went to a concert, went on dates. It was a really beautiful transition into being together, and thankfully very, pretty simple in comparison to other unions because we've had the inner work that we teach you guys. Without that, who knows what would have happened? Oh my God, the triggering may have caused so much more upsets, and yeah, it would have been a lot more challenging for us. But thankfully for the teachings of union, we were able to kind of seamlessly move through our triggers and go deeper into our intimacy and healing. And so, yeah, like I said, it's a lot of energy when you reunite with your twin flame. So just be prepared for that. It's okay to feel nervous. It's okay to feel excited. It's okay to feel anxious. It's okay to feel any feeling that's coming up when this happens. Like, literally have total and complete self-acceptance for who you are and for what you're feeling as you're coming into your union with your twin flame, because there's no wrong feelings. Like, you can't do it wrong, okay? Another really key piece to keep in mind when you're reuniting with your twin flame is that it's safe to be yourself. This was like my mantra when we were coming into union. In past relationships, I had put on like these masks of who I kind of like thought I should be, or like, how to attract people, how to attract relationships into my life. I was kind of playing this role or this character. But with Dylan, I was just fully myself. I just allowed myself to be all that I was, right? Like I felt called to, you know, when I came to visit him at his apartment, bring like a bunch of groceries, and like I just wanted to really love him in that area. And in the past I might have been like, oh, this might be kind of weird to bring all these groceries over to this person's house. Like we just started talking, but I just was like, no, I'm following my heart. And I did that. And it was really sweet and received really well. Right. And then at any other moment where I felt, you know, anxious or nervous or like any of those feelings, I was just allowing myself to fully be myself. Like whether I wanted to say something weird or like do whatever I wanted to do, I allowed myself to do that. Actually, there was one point where I don't know, Jill and I were talking. This is, you know, right at the beginning. And something happened and I just felt like I wanted to like just jump into his arms. And so I just jumped into his arms and, you know, we kissed and it was so sweet. And yeah, that was just me being fully myself. Like I wasn't afraid of like, oh, is he going to be able to catch me? Oh, like none of that. I just jumped up and like, yeah, and it was really, really sweet. And so you can be fully yourself with your twin flame. And that's really important to keep in mind. Like your twin flame is not going to recognize you if you're acting like someone you're not. That's really, really important, right? They're not going to recognize you if you're trying to be someone you're not, or if you are playing another role, right? All of these things. They know you for you, right? And so it's so important when you're reuniting with your twin flame to be really comfortable in just being yourself, right? And that's the work that we do with our clients, and the work that we did prior to coming into our own union is that we worked on embodying our true selves, right? Or our divine selves. That's why I say at the beginning of every video, welcome back to this channel, you beautiful divine children of God, because you're divine at your core. That's who you really are. And so as you work on embodying your authentic, divine, true self, you can very naturally bring that self into your union, and your twin flame is going to really naturally receive you. And so what I mean by like your true self, it's this part of you that's not afraid to, you know, speak your mind, right? Not afraid to feel your feelings, right? Not afraid to do the wrong thing, not afraid to make a mistake. You feel confident to the extent that like you feel good about showing up, joking around, being yourself, calling people out. Like you can just be you. Like there's no need to filter yourself, right? And so that's another really key piece to keep in mind when you're working on, when you are reuniting or when you're working on reuniting with your twin flame, you've got to be yourself. All right, and the next piece that I really want to touch on is that typically when you're reuniting with your twin flame, past wounds from previous relationships or even your family dynamic are going to come up in your union, probably at the beginning, right? Before you discovered who you two are together, you may be bringing old patterns into your relationship, but these are from past relationships. That's not the truth of your union. So it's really, really important to keep that in mind, that if these things do come up, like let's say your twin flame is doing something that reminds you of an ex of yours that did that thing that you really couldn't stand, do not freak out, right? Just heal the upset, because they're actually doing that to help you heal what you were still carrying from that past relationship, that like pain, or maybe, you know, whatever it is, that wound. They're actually helping you to heal that. So this can happen with past relationship patterns and also with that past family pattern. So let's say like your dad was very avoidant of you and, you know, didn't give you the attention you desired as a kid, right? The masculine energy. Your twin flame, when you start to come together, may begin to play out that pattern of avoiding you or things like that when things are getting emotional. And this isn't because he doesn't love you. It's not because he doesn't want to work through things with you. It's just because you're clearing that pattern out of your union. Right. You know, the mother-son dynamic can come up within healing a twin flame union, right? Because it's important to remember that as you come into union with your twin flame, whoever was the previous most important person in your life is now being replaced by your twin flame, right? And that is also the case for your twin flame. Whoever was the previous most important person in their life is now being replaced by you, okay? And so there may be a transition period, right? Let's say like your twin flame's most important person in his life was his mom, right? Let's say that's the case. Well, now he's with you and you're his woman, you're his divine feminine, you're the most important person in his life now. There may be a period where you've got to kind of have compassion and patience as that transitions from being the mom to being you, or vice versa with the father and the masculine twin flame. And this doesn't mean, you know, that your twin flame loves their parents more than you, right? It's just a really natural part of growing up. It's a natural part of releasing, you know, like they say in the Bible, man shall leave his father and mother and become one with his wife, right? That's literally the twin flame dynamic. That's the twin flame journey. And so, yeah, have compassion for yourself and your twin flame as you do this, because it doesn't have to happen all at once. You can go through your process. There is no rush. So really just, like I said, have compassion, have grace, be there for yourself as you move through these feelings. Like I said, it's not that he doesn't love you. It's not that she doesn't love you, but it is a transition, right? And yeah, like it can be hard to grow up sometimes, depending on the person, depending on the union. And so some people may need longer than others to fully transition into that committed relationship and that union where you become number one in each other's lives, right? Of course, after God and yourself. All right, the next thing to keep in mind when you're reuniting with your twin flame is this is what you've been training for, okay? This is it, fam. This is the Super Bowl. No, I'm just kidding. Like, not to put pressure on you. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just saying that you're prepared for this, right? That's really what I mean. Like, you've been training for this, especially if you're doing the mirror exercise, watching Twin Flame Ascension School, studying the teachings of union, working with a Twin Flame Ascension coach. You are Gucci. You are Gucci, friend. There's nothing to worry about, right? But I was saying you've been training for the triggering. You've been training for the upsets that are going to come up. So I want to reiterate, as I do in probably every video, your twin flame is your mirror, okay? And maybe you've been experiencing the mirroring from a distance, right? Before you reunite, but now it's up close and personal, right? Now it is up close and personal. Now everything that you've learned is going to come into action. And this is how it really felt for me when Dylan and I came together, because I had been studying the teachings of union for several months, working with my coach, working on the mirror exercise, and then we came together and it was like, all right, this is it. This is the work in action, right? You know, when you study for a test, you study, and then it's the final exam. And I'm not saying this to pressure you or freak you out, just to disclaim. And like a final exam, you can fail a final exam, you can't fail your union, so don't worry. But in that same way, like you have studied for this, you have prepared for your reunion, like you're ready for this, okay? It's like you're ready, right? I was speaking with a client the other day and I was sharing how, you know, once you've been doing this work for like any amount of time, really, it becomes ingrained in your consciousness. And so when you're starting to reunite with your twin flame, hang out again, triggering starts to happen, you're just very naturally going to divert to the mirror exercise. It's naturally, oh, he's triggering me. Let me just run to the bathroom real quick, heal this one, feel better, and come back and we'll continue our loving way. That's really what's going to start to happen is it's just you're naturally going to go from healing your upsets from when you're apart to healing your upsets together. And they might feel more intense. But if you've been watching Twin Flame Ascension School, if you've been doing your work, if you've been working with a coach, you're prepared. You are prepared. And like they say in the teaching of union, a harmonious union, raising a harmonious union takes a village. So if you're not doing this work yet, if you're not preparing yourself, start to do that process, right? Start to prepare and support yourself. This is not like a normal relationship, right? This is an eternal union that requires a lot of support. It really, really does. And so, yeah, if you're watching this and you haven't yet gotten that far yet, take this as your sign, right? That if you do desire to reunite with your twin flame, what I'm sharing here is that you do need to have a certain level of understanding about the connection, about the ascension, about the healing work, about the mirroring, about the triggering in order to ground your union. Because if you don't ground it into harmony, you can easily fall out of it and then, you know, have to work your way back in, which you do not want to do. But like you said, those of you watching that are prepared, you're going to be great. Really what happens and what I noticed when Dylan and I were reuniting was I would actually remember things from class and I'd be like, oh, I watched that in the class. Oh, this thing is happening now. Oh, this student actually worked through this. I already know how to heal this. Oh, okay. Now we're moving through this trigger and this upset. Oh, well, that was in this class. Oh, I learned this lesson from the book, right? All these things like were just connecting. And it was like, oh my gosh, it just made it feel like instead of drowning in the waves of all this energy, I was just getting to surf, right? I was just getting to surf through the knowledge that I'd already given myself and go deeper with it. All right, so I think the last thing I want to touch on today is, you know, your toolbox, right? This is your spiritual toolbox. This is what you want to have prepared for you. And I touched on it a little bit prior to coming into reunion or union with your twin flame, prior to reuniting, right? You want to have the mirror exercise mastered to a certain extent, okay? This is an absolutely essential, required ingredient, the same way that water is a required ingredient for human life. If you don't have the mirror exercise mastered, what are you doing? What are you doing? Yeah. So just master the mirror exercise. We've got a video. We actually just posted a recent one on our channel. I'll link up here on the mirror exercise. Dylan and I both go in depth about it. And it's the most powerful tool you'll ever use for healing separation from your twin flame, really from your heaven on earth, from your divine self. all that good stuff. It's amazing. So master the mirror exercise, okay? That's required. It's not optional if you want twin flame union, if you want harmony with your twin flame. I cannot stress it enough. If you took one thing away from this video, it'd be to learn and master the mirror exercise. The next thing would be to obviously support yourself. So you want to be able to support yourself. You know, I suggest twin flame ascension coaching. If you'd like to explore that with Dylan or I, you can book a 30-minute consultation with us down below. But twin flame ascension coaching was so essential and crucial for me when it came to reuniting with Dylan. It wouldn't have happened without that. It wouldn't have been as natural and easy and peaceful as it was if I didn't have the support of my coach in my corner. It just really allows you to clear out your consciousness at such a rapid pace because you have that soundboard, you have that person in front of you that's continuously guiding you back to the truth, guiding you back to love, guiding you back to peace. And it makes it so much easier to ascend, really. Number 3 is, you know, a spiritual community. Have a community of support around you. You know, we have the Twin Flame Universe Open Forum on Facebook that is there for you at any time. If you want to post any questions, get any support in there, it's always there. But having people on this journey supporting you, like alongside you in a community, is life-changing, right? They will say this about anything you want to do in life, right? There's people I follow that, you know, they do sales, okay? They have a sales community. I used to be really big into learning about ADHD. There was an ADHD community, right? Every single thing you want to master in your life, there is a community for, and it's essential to have that community support in your life. And then number 4, the most important thing to remember is that God comes first, right? It's not your twin flame that you are really after at the end of the day. It's God. It is God. All you want to do is be with God anyways. And so when you come into union or reunite with your twin flame, don't forget about God, right? Don't be like, okay, yay, now I got the thing that I've been wanting for so long. Okay, bye, God. No, like don't do that. You've got to continue to put God first. You've got to continue to put your relationship with God at number 1, okay? Because that's the foundation for your union. That's the foundation for your harmonious union. And without God, you can't be together. Like, it's not possible. Or maybe it is if you just want to control each other and be very miserable. But if you want to be happy and in harmony, you have to have God at the center of your union. So make sure to be keeping that in mind, that even when you get, you know, the thing, right, union, that's still not the thing. The thing is always God, okay? And continue to bring yourself back to God. Continue to bring yourself back to the relationship that you've cultivated with God, because that's got to stay stable for you to stay stable with your twin flame. Okay, it's a really key piece. Okay, and I think that covers it. I feel like I went over a lot in this video. I just let it flow. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. I probably missed many things, but in essence, really reuniting with your twin flame, it's such a beautiful chapter of your life. It is so amazing. It is so magical. It's like, you know, opening up, it's like reading the chapter of the book that's like the best chapter in the book, and then it gets even better. Like, I don't know how to explain it. It's so great, and it's so worth it. It's so worth the journey that you're taking right now. It's so worth, you know, doing your inner work, feeling those deep feelings, moving through your challenges, because what you receive, it's an eternal love. You know, it's not a soulmate kind of love. It's not something that's going to leave you. It's something that you're only going to deepen in, only going to grow closer in, only going to be more intimate in, have more joy, have more fun, have more peace in. It's a heavenly love, right? And this love is truly bringing heaven to earth, right? As twin flame unions come in together and begin to heal themselves, right? That's what heals the world, you know, that's what really truly heals the world. And so it's a magical, amazing thing coming into union and reuniting with your twin flame. And there is a proven process for doing so, which I touched on a lot of today, but overall it's the teachings of union. That is what we teach all of our clients. That's what we teach. We learned ourselves to come into our harmonious union. And what I highly recommend to anyone who is serious about being with their twin flame, it really is essential and life-changing. So with that, enjoy your reunion. It's going to be amazing. You've got this. You're ready, right? You've prepared for this. Whenever that day comes, if it's next week, next year, next month, whenever it is, continue to surrender the timeline, right? The dates, because that does not matter, right? What matters is how you feel. What matters is that you're feeling at peace and content with God and with yourself, because that's the energy, that's the little boat that's going to carry you to your harmonious union, okay? Peace. Peace is the way. And the mirror exercise is how you come into that peace. So wonderful. I hope that you all enjoyed this video. This was a really fun one to film. I really enjoyed chatting with you about twin flame reunion. And yeah, comment down below if you've reunited with your twin flame, or if you're on the twin flame path, or anything that you'd like, and we can chat more. And like I said, you can book a 30-minute consultation with us down below if you're interested in exploring twin flame ascension coaching. You can follow us over on Instagram at JillianIsHannah. Feel free to like this video and subscribe if you enjoy our content, and I will see you in the next video. Namaste.